Good day to you, and welcome to the Honest Talk podcast. Where I am, it's back to school season, and I'm coming to you today with some tips to survive this term, whether you're learning online or you're learning on site. I am currently learning online, and I've found that online learning can be a bit difficult for me, especially in terms of trying to focus. So there's some things that I figured out that actually work for me, and I'm here to share them with you guys today. So I'll start with tips that are for online lessons specifically, and then I will move on to tips that can work for both online and on-site, just to enrich your whole learning experience. The first tip I have is find a conducive place to do your lessons. This one is quite obvious. I don't know about you, but most of the times when I have online lessons, I get tempted to just stay in bed and just do my lessons in my blankets because no one is going to see me after all. So I used to do that for some time until I figured out that I wasn't actually learning anything that way, because most of the times I would fall asleep or just get too warm and lose focus on whatever would be happening in the class. So in as much as it was very comfortable and convenient to learn in my blankets, I found that I needed to find a conducive place to do my lessons. So a conducive place would be something like a desk and a chair in a quiet place. Because if you sit on a desk and a chair, it gives you the feel of being at conventional school, and it sort of conditions your mind to get into school mode. Unlike when you're in your bed and then your mind just thinks it's still supposed to be relaxed. So find a conducive place to do your lessons. I know it's hard. I know it seems like a hustle, but it will pay off. You'll thank me later. The second tip I have is actually make an effort to wake up early and bath before lessons start. I know, again with the waking up, but seriously, I used to do my lessons in my pajamas, and I was just lazy to go and bath or get out of my blankets, and I used to just wake up in the morning and maybe brush my teeth and wash my face, go back into my blankets, turn on my computer and join my lessons. But then I found that I focus better on my lessons when I actually prepare for them as if I am at school, by waking up early and bathing before the beginning of lessons. So this is a good thing because it just makes you fresh and ready for the day. I know we all work better when we're fresh and when we've bathed. So yeah, try it and see how it goes. Then the third tip I have is get your mind to focus before the start of the lesson. So I know that online lessons tend to feel unreal in a way. Because it's like we're supposed to be learning, but we're not at school. So are we actually learning? We can do whatever we want because no one can actually see us. So in a situation like that, it's hard to bring our mind to actually focus on what we're supposed to be doing. And I found that a major distraction of mine is always my phone. Because before I start my lessons, I usually scroll through social media, chat with some friends, and then that just puts my mind in a different place from school altogether. So I also found that I focus more on days when I leave my phone at least 10 minutes before the start of the lesson. So that allows me to actually get my mind to focus on what I'm supposed to be doing, unlike a lesson starting whilst I'm talking to a friend. That way I won't have enough time to get my mind out of the conversation that I was having with my friend and into the conversation that my teacher is trying to have with me. So there's another tip. Get your mind to focus before the start of the lesson by leaving anything it is that distracts you or puts your mind in a place that's hard to come back from. For me, it's my phone. So do that at least 10 minutes before the start of your lessons. And another tip that's in relation to that, which is tip number 4, is turn off social media notifications during lessons. I know that some of us use the same gadgets we use for our socials, for our lessons as well. So you don't want to be distracted whilst you're in a lesson and then some really interesting topic pops up on Instagram or on WhatsApp, and then your mind gets captivated by that and you're no longer listening to what the teacher or the lecturer is saying. Because I know how tempting things on social media can really be. So it's best to just turn off the notifications and see them later after the lessons. And now I'm going to move on to tips that generally work for both scenarios, whether you're learning online or you're learning on site. So one thing that I found that really, really works for me is to browse through the content that I'm supposed to learn before I actually get into class. I do this because I found that when I get into class and I'm blank, it's a bit hard for me to stay awake. Because I get confused and then trying to understand everything and trying to even figure out what it is that the teacher is talking about is a bit hard for me. So I found that looking at the objectives or actually browsing through the actual content before I go and learn it works wonders for me, because at least I can better follow and I have an idea of what the teacher is saying. So try it out and let me know how it goes. Browse through the content before you get into class. It will get you better prepared to learn. And the second tip on tips that generally work for both scenarios is get adequate rest every night, so you're fresh for the day. Everyone says this, it's so cliche, but seriously, you need to get adequate rest every night, especially when you're going to be learning, because I find that it's hard for me to focus when I'm tired. I don't know about you. So I generally sleep earlier on days when I'm going to school than I do when I'm on holiday, because I find that it helps me to be as active as I can be in class, because I am generally a person who can fall asleep in class, like if I don't get adequate rest. So I make sure I get as much rest as I can. So try it. And then the third tip is to eat well. This is another cliche one, but it really does work, because you don't want to go and start working your mind and expending energy when you're hungry. That just doesn't work. You can't focus when you're hungry. So just make sure you're well nourished. And a bonus tip is stay hydrated. Staying hydrated can actually help you if you are falling asleep, or not falling asleep but feeling sleepy. So that's it for today. I hope you find these tips helpful, and I hope they work for you as well. If you have any other tips that you would like to share with us, feel free to share them on our Instagram page in the comment section. Thank you so much for listening. I love you. Keep being honest. Till we meet next time. Bye.